Today on Inquirer. Tropical Depression Maymay slowly approaching the country's landmass. Another tropical depression seen to enter the Philippine area of responsibility. Amid the continuous operations of Pogos in the country, Philippines included in China's blacklist of tourist destinations. PNP Chief admits lapses in the handling of detainees after former Senator Leila De Lima was held hostage inside the custodial center. And 9 in 10 Filipino adults see the proliferation of fake news as a problem in the country. Good evening. The Philippine Atmospheric, Geophysical and Astronomical Services Administration warned of possible heavy rains and strong winds in parts of northern and central Luzon as Tropical Depression Maymay is slowly approaching the country's landmass. To give us an update, joining us live is Pagasa weather specialist Obet Badrina. Sir Obet, good evening.
Good evening, Neil, and good evening to all our viewers.
Sir Obet, what's the latest on Tropical Depression Maymay?
Okay, so as of 4 p.m., the center of the Tropical Depression Maymay was estimated around 265 kilometers east of Casiguran in Aurora. So it is currently almost stationary, although the general movement would be generally westward. No? So as of now, the maximum sustained winds of this tropical depression is around 45 kilometers per hour near the center and with the gustiness of up to 55 kilometers per hour. So currently, the tropical cyclone wind signal number 1 is hoisted in areas in Isabela in Aurora, Isabela in Quirino, Nueva Vizcaya, Aurora, Nueva Ecija, and the extreme northern portion of Quezon, including Polillo Island. So in this area, we can expect rains with gusty winds, particularly in the next 36 hours. So today through tomorrow afternoon, we can expect, as you mentioned, the moderate to heavy with the times intense rain, particularly in areas in northern Luzon. So actually what we are noticing right now, although there are some areas in the path of the tropical depression Maymay, which actually includes some areas in central Luzon, the concentration of rainfall would be in the northern part. Because remember, we already terminated the southwest monsoon, so most of the wind now coming from the northeast. So expect for our kababayans, particularly in the northern and central Luzon, they can expect some moderate to heavy up to intense rain. So in Cagayan, in Isabela, Batanes, Apayao, also includes Aurora, some areas in Cordilleras, and also Ilocos Norte, and in these areas.
Sir Obet, are we seeing this storm to strengthen further or maybe make a landfall?
Yes. Well, for one, we're not looking at the possibility for it to strengthen, although it's still in the particularly in the over the Philippine Sea, but because of its because it's already adjacent in the land area or landmass, so and also with the current condition, we're not expecting it to intensify further. What we're looking at possibly when it make landfall, particularly in the area of around Aurora or Isabela area, it may actually it may weaken to become a low pressure area na lang.
I understand that we have another tropical depression seen to enter the Philippine area of responsibility. Does this pose any danger to the country?
Yes. As of now, we released an 11 a.m. update this morning, and based on this track, actually, it will move towards the areas of extreme northern Luzon. So it may make, as of now, but anything can still change. As of now, it may make a landfall, particularly in around Batanes area. But that would be around.
But there's still no certainty, right?
Yes. The certainty is still huge, given it will take around some days. But what we're certain right now, it may enter the Philippine responsibility probably on Thursday.
Okay. Thanks, Sir Obet. That's Pag-asa weather specialist Obet Badrina.
Thank you.
The Philippines has been included in China's blacklist of tourist destinations over the operations of Philippine offshore gaming operators or Pogos in the country. To tell us more, here's our Senate reporter Deniza Fernandez reporting live. Deniza?
Amid continuous operations of Philippine offshore gaming operators or Pogos, the Philippines has been included in China's blacklist of tourist destinations. Senate President Juan Miguel Zubiri shared the development during the Senate Committee on Ways and Means hearing today after meeting with Chinese Ambassador Wang Shilian on Monday. According to Zubiri, the Philippines has been part of the blacklist because China is worrying that their tourists will only operate or join Pogo operations. This is the reason why there is a decline in the number of Chinese tourists in the Philippines, the Senate President said. He also added that Huang repeatedly pointed out that the social costs of Pogos are very high. Based on the Philippine National Police's report, there have been 38 Pogo-related crimes from January 1 to October 6 this year. PNP Directorate for Investigation and Detective Management Chief Major General Eliseo Cruz said that the 38 cases include 16 kidnapping for ransom cases and 5 trafficking in persons cases. Meanwhile, PNP Police Security and Protection Group Director Brigadier General Joel Neil Salcedo said that no cop from their unit is escorting Pogo workers. The Senate panel, chaired by Senator Sherwin Gatchalian, opened an investigation on Pogos amid the alleged spike of abduction cases linked to the industry.
Denisa, I have a question for you. What are the demands of China for this blacklist status on the Philippines to be lifted? Do they want Pogos to be completely shut down? Because this is not a new issue.
Yes, Neil, while China has not set its demands to lift the blacklist status, Ambassador Wang reiterated China's opposition to Pogos during his courtesy call on Zubiri.
What's the stand of Malacanang regarding this? Have they made any statement regarding this? Because we know that there have been calls to shut down Pogos even back in the Duterte administration. So how about the Marcos administration? What's their stand on this issue?
Neil, the palace is yet to comment on the matter as it is yet to receive the advisory on the blacklisting, according to Office of Press Secretary Officer in Charge Sheloy Garafil.
Okay, thanks, Denisa. That's Denisa Fernandez reporting live. Philippine National Police Chief General Rodolfo Azurin admitted that that there may have been some lapses in the police handling of detainees after former Senator Leila De Lima was held hostage inside the custodial center in Camp Crame. To give us the details, John Eric Mendoza is reporting live. Eric?
Yes, Neil. The Philippine National Police Chief General Rodolfo Azurin Jr. on Tuesday admitted that there may be some lapses on the cops' part in handling detainees after former Senator Leila De Lima was held hostage inside the custodial center in Camp Crame over the weekend. Azurin made a pronouncement in an ABS-CBN News Channel interview as the public raised questions on how the 3 suspected Abu Sayyaf members obtained a sharp object that was used to stab a police officer and held De Lima hostage. The police chief has since ordered tighter security measures in his custodial facilities after the incident. The ordeal resulted in the death of 3 suspected Abu Sayyaf members while the policemen remain in critical condition. De Lima has been detained at the PNP Custodial Center since 2017 for drug charges which she repeatedly denied and described as trumped up. In a related development, Azurin also apologized for using the term Muslim in describing the suspects in the detained former senator's hostage-taking. Senator Robin Padilla, who is a Muslim revert, took offense on the profiling of the 3 suspects, saying that the term Muslim should not be used to identify them since their religion has nothing to do with the crime. Azurin said Padilla's concerns are well noted and that the police will use a more appropriate term next time. Back to you, Neil.
Eric, how is former Senator De Lima doing right now? Because aside from this hostage-taking incident, I understand she was also exposed to DILG Secretary Abalos, who later on tested positive for COVID-19.
Well, yes, Neil, fortunately, former Senator De Lima tested negative for COVID-19. She actually shared her swab test results in her Twitter page on Tuesday. She underwent RT-PCR on Monday afternoon following her exposure to Interior Secretary Abalos, who visited her after the hostage crisis. She is currently confined at the PNP General Hospital for further monitoring and tests due to chest pains, but her chest pains are not due to COVID-19 symptoms, but due to, and I quote, as a result of the constant pressing by the hostage taker of the sharp weapon on my chest just beside the heart, end of quote. The hearing of De Lima's cases was also cancelled by the judge on Monday following her COVID-19 exposure. Neil?
Okay, that's John Eric Mendoza reporting live. 9 in 10 Filipino adults see the proliferation of fake news as a problem in the country. In a Pulse Asia survey conducted from September 17 to 21, 86% of respondents agreed that fake news is a problem in the Philippines. Only 14% of respondents across the country do not regard fake news as an issue. Meanwhile, the internet or social media and television are the leading sources of fake news about government and politics, according to the survey. In terms of the spread of fake news, 58% of respondents pointed to social media influencers as its top source. This was followed by journalists, national-level politicians, local politicians, civic leaders, business people, and academics or teachers. The survey was conducted using face-to-face interviews of 1,200 respondents. The so-called Dolomite Beach in Manila Bay is now complete, the Department of Environment and Natural Resources declared on Tuesday. During the hearing of the Senate Committee on Finance, DENR's Undersecretary Jonas Leones said that no additional fund is needed for the artificial white sand beach project for 2023 because it's already finished. He also said that allocation for Manila Bay rehabilitation will be given to areas around the body of water and for the installation of a waste management facility to make sure of its conservation.
I'm happy to say that we have already completed the Dolomite area, the placing of the sand. And we are now Manila, yung sa Baywalk, Madam Chair. There's no additional budget. The budget for Manila Bay rehabilitation will be given to the different regions for the protections of the Manila Bay and other enforcement and installation of additional waste treatment facility. So, but for the Dolomite in the Baywalk, we have already completed, Madam Chair, Your Honor.
The 389 million peso Dolomite Beach project involved dumping crushed dolomite on a 500-meter stretch of land along Manila Bay. Proponents called the undertaking beach nourishment, but critics called it a massive waste of people's money. Alamin naman natin ang mainit na balita sa mundo ng showbiz kasama ang ating bandera editor, Irvin Santiago. Irvin?
Hi Neil at sa lahat ng mga kabandera natin all over the universe. Ipo na nga ang latest bandera chika. Nagdiwang kahapon ng kanyang 53rd birthday si Senator Chis Escudero, pero ang inaabangang pagbati ng kanyang asawang si Heart Evangelista ay hindi nga nangyari. Talagang tinutukan ng mga netizens kung magpo-post ba si Heart ng kanyang birthday greetings para sa kanyang mister, ngunit natapos nga ang buong araw nang wala man lang paramdam ang kapuso actress sa espesyal na araw ng kanyang asawa. Kaya naman ang feeling ng mga netizens talagang nagkanya-kanya na nga ng landas ang celebrity couple dahil nga sa pang-dededma ni Heart sa kanyang asawa. Mabuti pang araw ang kapwa-senador ni Chis Escudero na si Senator Robin Padilla ay nakuha talagang bumati kay Senator Chis, pero si Heart, dedma lang talaga. Marami ring netizens ang nagpadala ng kanilang birthday greetings para kay Chis Escudero at halos iisa ang kanilang wish. Yan ay ang magkabalikan at magkaayos na sana ang celebrity couple sa lalong madaling panahon. Sa Instagram account naman ni Heart ay maraming nagtanong kung bakit hindi nga niya binati ang kanyang asawa nung kaarawan nito. Pero ni isa sa kanila ay hindi sinagot ng kapuso actress. Hanggang ngayon ay nananatili pa rin sa Paris ang fashion icon at mukhang tototohanin na nga niya ang manirahan doon dahil nga nakabili na raw siya ng apartment sa Paris. Kung kailan siya babalik sa Pilipinas, yan ang hindi natin masasagot. Pero isa kami sa mga umaasa at nagdarasal na sana'y maayos na nga ang kanilang problema at magkabalikan nga. At yan ang bandera chika natin ngayon. Thanks, Neil.
Maraming salamat, Irvin. And these are the stories you need to know today. I'm Neil Mercado. Follow INQUIRER.net on Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, TikTok, Instagram, and Reddit. For more stories, visit INQUIRER.net. Good evening.